From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your Evening Update.
Kent's Meats and Grocery is much more than a grocery store. We carry a full line of quality meats, local and organic vegetables, and a large variety of fish, Green Mountain Smart Control pellet grills, and a full deli case of sandwiches and side dishes.
Good evening, everyone. I want to remind you that before we get started with the forecast, that every weekday morning I've got a live show called Coffee with Krueger. It's a great way for you to get your day started. Get yourself out the door, get your kids out the door as you're getting ready for the day, and I'll let you know what to expect as you're heading out the door, whether it's going to be cold or warm or what kind of day you can expect here. That's every weekday morning at 6:30. We will see you bright and early every morning on Coffee with Krueger at 6:30. We will see you then. Let's take a look at our weather headlines, and of course the showers, they return by tomorrow, and especially for many of the higher elevations, especially to the north and east of the valley, but even the valley could see some activity. We'll take a closer look at Futurecast here in a second, and I do expect significantly cooler weather. And we've been looking at temperatures in the low 80s for some of those warmer spots in the valley. Not the case by the time we get into Thursday. Also, snow levels, I'm lowering them as low as 2,000 feet, I think, in some cases here, at least at their lowest. But they'll probably be somewhere between 2,000 and 3,000 feet. But I also expect, once we get through this weekend, to see drier and warmer conditions. And, you know, the thing is, we're not going to see a lot of rain over the weekend, but at least there's going to be that chance. But by early next week, we've got a high pressure building. It'll be warmer, too. All right, so let's take a look at your neighborhood at a glance for tomorrow. Kind of get you through the day. Of course, we're looking at temperatures cooler, right? You've got the chance for showers, especially for the north end of the valley. Redding, Red Bluff, and even an off chance for a thunderstorm. Chance for showers for Trinity County in the north coast, but keep in mind, it's a very weak cold front initially, and it will strengthen as it makes its way eastward into the eastern mountains. And that's why places like Siskiyou, Modoc have a better chance for some of those showers. And not to mention the eastern mountains, eventually the eastern mountains, though, late in the day, probably closer to the evening and overnight hours. But again, you'll notice, too, that it will be cooler out there. I want to get the winds out of the way to kind of show you that the winds will be picking up again as we take you into tomorrow as that cold front passes through. You see those winds gusting upwards around 20. This is not going to be a wind event where we're expecting damaging winds, but it'll be more of a nuisance, right? We're going to be looking at those winds kind of blowing, and they'll get a little bit stronger as we go into tomorrow evening. But then as we go into your Thursday, the wind's fairly calm, but then they pick back up again by Thursday evening. So again, off and on is what we're looking at here with these winds. The severe weather outlook, well, it looks like the Storm Prediction Center has taken what once was just this area right here and has expanded it to the south and west. And when we take a look at Futurecast, you'll see that that potential is certainly going to be a possibility as we go into tomorrow afternoon. And then, of course, as we go into Thursday, most of Northern California is looking at the potential for some thunderstorms. But I do want to help you understand better what we're looking at when we see this. Number one, first and foremost, this is typically what we see. It doesn't even have a label. You have 5 categories, 1 through 5 right here. Of course, 1 being the lowest, marginal, and then 5 being the highest. We rarely, if ever, get within this 4 to 5 range, and it's even very rare for us to get into the 3. Typically, if we get into that 1 and 2 category, that's when we have the better potential for thunderstorms. But again, this is typically the category that we see, and here's what it means. We're not expecting severe thunderstorms, number 1, and it's just going to be the setup. We have some instability out there. Showers and even thunderstorms could develop, but they may not necessarily be all that bad. Sometimes, though, one thing you have to remember is lightning and flooding threats exist with all thunderstorms. And that's the case. When you get lightning, that can be dangerous. And that's something we've got to really pay attention to. So, again, this is typically what we look at. It's nothing to be terribly alarmed about. And sometimes when you see that whole area of green, it doesn't mean everyone's going to see thunderstorms. It just means that the potential is out there. All right, so let's take a look at what we can expect here for going into tonight. There's actually a weak disturbance passing through this evening, and that will bring us a chance for some showers out towards central and northeastern Siskiyou County, not to mention Modoc County. But I think everyone else should be looking at dry conditions for the most part tonight. Now, as we go into the overnight and early morning hours, I think mainly dry conditions. There may be some drizzle along the coast and still seeing some of that fog developing there as well. Some leftover clouds too for some of the disturbance passing through, but overall mainly clear skies here for the valley early tomorrow morning. Now, as we go into the noon hour tomorrow, here's that cold front passing through. It's a very weak one. So it's not really doing much here, right? You can see just some light showers for central Siskiyou County, and then, of course, extends southward into Trinity County and southern Humboldt. So, yeah, we could see some light showers in parts of Trinity County and Humboldt County, and maybe even Delnor County, especially for Wednesday morning. But it's not very strong at this point. But look what happens as we get into the afternoon hours. That cold front is now beginning to have a bigger impact. And this is also in the form of some convection as well. If we have enough clearing in the morning and get some of that daytime heating through the day, that's where you see those showers begin to pop up along that line here. So Redding, Red Bluff, yeah, a chance for a shower, maybe even an isolated thunderstorm. But as you head to the south of that, the chances do begin to diminish. And then, of course, to the north and east, you got the chance for showers and maybe some thunderstorms as well. And notice the snow levels above 6,000 feet. We're not even seeing snow on the map here, with the exception of right here. So you get the idea, it's still fairly warm with this system. The colder air moves in behind it. I'm dropping snow levels a little bit by tomorrow night between 4,000 and 5,000 feet. You can see most of the activity is off into Modoc County. But next, my eyes are on back over here. This is the cold and unstable air that'll be moving in through the day on Thursday. You see how it's all kind of rotating on in. So as we go into 5 a.m. on Thursday, yeah, snow levels now are dropping between 2,000 and 3,000 feet because at this point, the colder air is in place. So number one, that's going to lower the snow levels. But number two, that's going to help to destabilize the atmosphere. Because again, look at Thursday morning. Fairly clear in many areas. We start to see that daytime heating, and as that colder air and unstable air moves in, it becomes even more unstable with that heat, and we see showers and thunderstorms popping up. As early as around the noon hour, we're beginning to see a few pop-ups, even in the valley and some of the foothills. But notice we're just seeing some of these snow flurries in the higher elevations, again, between 2,000 and 3,000 feet. What you'll notice, though, is it's not very widespread, and it's actually not even all that heavy either. So as we take you into Thursday afternoon, there you've got the chance for showers and maybe an isolated thunderstorm popping up as well. But once again, not very widespread. There's some of that snow in the east, north, and not to mention to the west. And we're seeing more kind of in that rotation. Now, as we take you into your Thursday night, you see how it's all kind of shifting southward. Still a bit of rain, especially now in the central and southern portions of the valley. And we're seeing some showers and maybe some isolated thunderstorms and even some snow in the higher elevations. That will move out, but there still could be a chance for some isolated activity here going into your Friday. But remember I was talking about we're just not going to see a lot of snow at this, and that's pretty much the case. I think for the most part, it's going to be less than an inch of rain, a snowfall that is, for most of the higher elevations down to about 2,000 to 3,000 feet. We could maybe see a mix around Weaverville and Hayfork, and maybe even a light dusting. We could see maybe a little bit of accumulation out towards Mount Shasta City, Fall River Mills, Bernie, Shingletown. Potential of seeing that light accumulation. Maybe just a little bit more as you head into the higher elevations around Chester, for example, at about 1 to 2 inches. But you get the idea, even through Thursday 10 p.m., we're not even getting into the pinks here, even for the highest of elevations. So what that tells us is this is a fairly moisture-starved storm system. Not a ton of snow, and really not even a ton of rain, minus, of course, if you get caught under a thunderstorm, you'll see a brief period of some moderate to heavy rainfall. All right, so let's talk about that colder air. There's the warmer air that's been over us. It's moving out. A nice shot of cold air coming down. This is what's lowering those snow levels. This is what's destabilizing the atmosphere for Thursday and not to mention even into Friday. But then that colder air begins to move out as we go into the weekend. But another shot of cold air moving down, but this time not quite as cold, but still keeping our temperatures below normal going through the weekend. That will eventually move out, and high pressure starts to build in as we go into early next week, and that should give us slightly warmer temperatures. But as you can see, it's not a very strong ridge of high pressure, so temperature is not warming up a ton. But it is going to be that roller coaster ride, if you will, with those temperatures. So again, talking about a moisture-starved system, this is all the way through Monday, because we do have a chance for showers even as we go into the weekend, but it's going to be few and far between. So you can see actually what's kind of interesting is that most of the rain, which even through Monday, it's not a ton. Most of that rain will be to the north and east, and we're going to see less for the valley and westward along the coast. Usually it's the other way around. So it'll be interesting to see what we end up with. Quite honestly, these are not numbers to take home, but you get the idea. It's just not going to be a ton of rainfall. Now we look at the wave heights, and there you can see they're actually going to increase as you take it through the day on Wednesday. And not to mention into Thursday as well, as those systems kind of pass on through. So let's take a look at our marine forecast for your Wednesday. Northwest winds at 10 to 20 knots, waves from the north at 5 feet at 6 seconds, and from the west at 5 feet at about 12 seconds. And there, of course, is that chance for showers out there. All right, here's what it looks like tonight. We're going to be looking at the clouds probably moving in some areas here, but for the most part, fairly clear skies, and the cold air is not here yet. So, it's places like Laston Park, some of those highest elevations, we'll see temperatures around freezing. But, even Alturas, Susanville, upper 30s, low 50s for many of us in the valley. And looks like somewhere in the mid-40s for Siskiyou County, and not to mention out towards the coast as well. So here's your Trinity County neighborhood forecast. Temperatures, mid to upper 50s for your daytime highs. So yeah, it's cooling off a bit, but still not terribly cold. Now, there you can see, if we take a look at the south end of Humboldt County for your North Coast forecast, there you can see about 50 degrees in Fortuna, 51 for Blue Lake. There could be a chance for a few showers. Don't count on it, though. I think the bulk of it will be on Thursday, with maybe even a chance for a few isolated thunderstorms. 50 for Gasquet, 52 for Orleans, Hoopa about 51. Also, a slight chance for showers, especially in the morning for your Wednesday. But then as we go into Thursday, maybe a better chance with maybe even an isolated thunderstorm in there as well. Your Siskiyou County neighborhood forecast. Now we're beginning to see, especially as you go into the afternoon hours, say central and eastern Siskiyou County, we'll see better chances for some of those showers kind of kicking on in, with snow levels fairly high, around 6,000 feet, dropping down to about 2,000 and 2,500 feet by the time you get to Thursday. Your Modoc County neighborhood forecast, showers, maybe even some thunderstorms here for tomorrow afternoon, with a high of 61 for Alturas and 53 degrees for Tule Lake. We take you off into the eastern mountains, probably dry through a good portion of the day on Wednesday. It's not until late afternoon, early evening that we might start to see some of that activity begin to move in, but until then should stay fairly dry. Snow levels down to about 3,000 feet and locally lower on Thursday. Your Valley neighborhood forecast brought to you by NorCal Tractors. Of course, there you can see looking at about 70 in Chico as well as Durham. So still, fairly mild, but again, not quite as warm as it has been. We take you up north with about 62 degrees for Whiskeytown, 68 in Shingletown, and the city of Shasta Lake about 66 degrees. There is your 7-day outlook. We're going to start to take a look at Redding, and there you can see the showers, maybe even a thunderstorm for your Wednesday. Better chances for showers and thunderstorms on Thursday. Then on Friday, we're going to be looking at off and on chances for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Is it going to be enough for you to cancel any outdoor plans? Probably not. But we are going to be looking at that slight chance out there. Mainly dry, though. Quite honestly, you'll be more dry than you will be wet for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And it's warming up as we go into your Monday and Tuesday.